The button has been pushed. Hello and welcome. What's up, guys? We got a special episode for you because although we had the brownie episode drop on Monday on Memorial Day, we have a very special guest with Jack Demerjian from Red Daisy Sporting Club. What's going on, Jack?
Things are good, Cody. Thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Shay, I'm glad that you could show up. I know that you had a wild weekend. Your house looks very clean from the stories that I heard after I
I mean,
left.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like I said, I went to we had the barbecue on Saturday, and you had your kids with you, so you had to go. And um, it uh, it went a lot later than I was awake. I went to bed at 3. Everybody else kept hanging out, but then the people that never slept actually cleaned the kitchen and everything a little bit. So like, I woke up to most of the recycling and sorting had been done, and I just needed to like just sweep up the bits and bobs. So yeah, it wasn't too bad.
That's pretty dope. Well, I had FOMO after I left there, but then I was following, and I've been a big follower of Jack and Red Daisy Sporting Club for a long time. If you guys don't know who he is, go check out Instagram. He basically provides some of the hottest photos in our bluegrass scene right now, and video, right? And it's fun because I was watching Jack. I saw him post, and he's got a media pass, right? And I know that he started this as a passion project, and we had chatted in the past before, and I was like, hell yeah, I want to hear this guy's story. Like, how the hell did you get here? How did you get to DelFest? What was going on? So, Jack, for the people that don't know, this isn't a job, right? It started as a hobby.
It's still not a job. I very much so still work a day job. I've never taken a dollar from an artist. I'm not looking to take anything. The genre doesn't get the compensation that I think a lot of these artists deserve, and I'm not really looking to take anything from them. I mean, it's an honor to be able to come out. So it's a privilege to get to work with them. So as long as they can give me a photo pass and maybe a plus one, so I can bring a pretty girl with me every now and then, that's all I'm really looking for.
That's pretty dope. So, obviously, similar to us, this was something that you got into because you loved the scene, right? So, you're in Baltimore. Have you always been in Maryland? Is that where you grew up?
No, I'm from North Jersey. I was born on Long Island. I grew up like 30 minutes outside New York City. It's a little weird how I got into this. My dad's probably the most unlikely deadhead you'll ever find. He works in a profession where a lot of the things that revolve around the dead are not, they don't coexist. But one of the earliest memories I have is driving down to Florida with him, like on vacation, and he used to play Grateful Dead sets that he had recordings of, front to back, the same kind of stuff that we get on Nugs. I got exposed to really early. I think that's how I got my ears for it. And I don't know, over time I just developed. I was kind of looking for my own sound, and I
That's
found
the
it.
exact reason I like James Taylor so much because my dad played me a lot of James Taylor. But
Well, and so did you guys go to any shows together? Like, when was your
No,
first live music experience? It was just driving down to Florida for vacation, getting to a beach.
first live music experience audio wise was that because I remember the one song I really liked as a kid was I think Monkey and the Engineer is what it's called. Once upon a time I was an engineer. Go far in there. And I remember I used to hear one version, and one time I asked him to play it. He played a different version. I was like, "What is this?" Yeah, I wanted this one, and then I started getting the same snobby taste for songs that I have now, where I want the date from, I want December 8th, 23, End of the Rainbow. That's the only one I want. I don't want to hear the other ones. I'm open to hear challenges on which one's better, but I'm really picky about, like, I have a favorite song, but there's a date that comes with it.
Yeah, like 69 Dark Star. Like, there's just different things that people love from different scenes and the show. But that's what's so beautiful about music is like that evolution and that growth, right? So for you, you like heard the Dead. When did you start going to shows? When was it that it started becoming more of a in-person hobby and not just popping on tape?
So I want to say where it really started, where it took off, was I was encouraged to leave the nest rather early. I was a hard kid to parent, and in that encouragement, I was sprung from the nest at 17 or 18. But I promise you, I worked to have that happen. My dad he's a good person, very supportive. When you give me an inch, I take a mile and then some. So in doing so, I remember I'm sitting in this kid's basement, and I have to be a world entrepreneur with very little in my backpack to figure a lot of this stuff out. And my friend's father was like, "Hey, do you still like the dad?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean nothing's changed." He goes, "Do you want to work this festival? It's called All Good. It's in West Virginia. I'll pay you 300 for the weekend. Just don't get trashed, and it'll be a good time." And I like knew not. I had never seen the scene before. And I kind of just went into it blindly, but like I needed the money. And
So you were 18 at that time?
that's where things kind of took off, man. It started with All Good. I did well at that one. I can't remember the exact chronological order, but that summer I worked for a company called Southernmost Falafel. If there's some real heads or some real people on Fish Tour, they know who Louie is, the Jerry Roll guy.
Yeah.
Worked for him for a while. We did All Good, Magna Ball, the last gathering of vibes in Bridgeport, which I had some very new experiences that made the tie-dye make sense that summer. That was a fun one. We did Camp Bisco, which was a little bit outside of my taste, but it exposed me to groups or duos like Big Gigantic, which was awesome, Tipper.
For sure.
Yeah, that's really what got me into the scene, starting to understand what tour's like, and I loved it. Loved it.
Got your taste. What was it? Because like I always love talking to people who get introduced to the scene, right? And then their perception, and then eventually you're like, oh my God, I became that guy that I was talking about a couple of years ago, right? So like, how was it for you to see like, because like depending on the band, right? The fandom and the following can be crazy, and now we are part of probably some of the thickest when it comes to craziness in the Billy String scene. So, like, how was it for you being exposed to that? Was there like an shit moment where you're like, what's going on here?
Well, so that summer, like I said, when I sprung the nest and I ended up going, working tour with the vendors, that was 16. So it was quite a while before I like got to circle back. I had a lot of soul searching to do. There
Yeah.
were some small legal complications and some things that, every young man learns if he has a chance to and he's dumb enough to go looking for trouble. And once I started getting my feet back under me, I was working for this one guy who had been to a couple hundred fish shows. He owned a pool company. It was like seasonal work, but, paid cash and he was a good time to hang out with. He played good music. He kept telling me, hey, I'm seeing this Billy something. I was like, oh, Billy, you seen Billy Keys? He goes, no, like I'm seeing Billy Strings, and he's coming to Baltimore. Dude, I'll buy you the ticket. Just come. And he kept hounding me, and I was like, all right, I'll see him. At the time, I had no taste for the banjo. Just something about it, like it did not ring well for me. Fiddles were still kind of new, and it was July 2nd, 2022, Pier 6 in Baltimore, right on the water, outdoor venue. I remember like getting out of the car. I was parked 2 blocks away. You could have taken a butter knife and cut the air. That's how thick the humidity was. I was in probably a black t-shirt. I sweat bad enough as it is, so I'm always in some dark color. I got khaki pants on. You can literally see on my thighs that I'm sweating through them just walking over. I'm seeing people freaking out about posters because of how wet the air is, etc. As we're getting into the venue, all of a sudden you hear thunder, and there's, I think I was one of the last people they let in, then they had to give it a break for a while.
Yeah, I was
The
gonna
show started,
show that they ended up cutting because of the thunder and lightning.
well, they didn't cut it, it just started late.
Yeah, so they delayed it and there was a break because I remember everybody had to go like underneath the pavilion, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
This
Where,
is
I'm so
back,
sorry. Where was this again?
Pier 6,
Tier 6. Okay.
Pavilion.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
This was back when you could still get a pit ticket for $88 same day on a resale. What a pretty time that was. If only I had known what I had available to me in that time. But I'm under the pavilion. I see all these people super excited. I'm still like, all right, like this is cool. Like the energy's right, but I don't really know what I'm getting into. And eventually they come on out. Fourth song. Well, if I might have this, whoever listens to this the way I do, you might tell me how I'm incorrect, and it was actually the fifth. But what if I remember properly?
Comments. They always fucking come out in the comments.
On number 3 song was Must Be 7, and he bleeds that into Thunder, just like what he just pulled for us in Cary on 419, this last beautiful Cary run we got.
Yep.
I heard Thunder, and I promise you, I never look back, man. Like it's a drug that I'm happy to be taking on here. It's an expensive hobby because I love the pit, but man, there were so many good songs that night, and since then, I don't know when. I think your original question was when did I turn into that person that I used to look at. I think that was probably like this past weekend or maybe in Cary when they're like, "Oh, what show is this?" And I say 20, and they're like, "Wow." And I'm like, "No, dude, I'm here with someone who's at 80. You have no idea. I'm behind." I'm
Yeah.
behind. Like I should be flying around at this point. But
That's crazy. So I remember that thunder because it was filthy. And then I even remember there was a dope shot from Jesse Fats where it had like the thunder striking in the background with the crowd and everything. And it's like, God damn.
I still have no idea how many shows I've been to.
that's a problem I'd like to have, my friends.
I mean, I'm you know, there's always somebody out there that's like, I've been to 300 shows, and you know, those guys because they have more time and money than I do. You know, and I think the first time I saw Billy was in 2018, so it's probably pushing 50 maybe. But I don't, you know, and I feel proud, you know. Wow, I've spent a lot of money on this. And then you're like, yeah, some guys like, oh, I've been to like 340 shows. They're like, all right, well, that's cool, man. Like,
People ask me how many shows I've been into, and it's like all I care about is the next show that I'm going to.
yeah,
Right.
That show's the next show, baby.
Yeah, and so it's wild because like there's some of us, and that is the wild part of the scene because I do think that people are, and we've seen this in other scenes, whether it's Fish or the Grateful Dead or some of these big names, where some of these people who have been doing it a long time, like, oh, this is my 100th show, or I've been to X amount of shows, and it's not that it's going to make anybody better than another fan, right? It's just like for us, like Shay and I talked about it earlier today. I was like, man, if I didn't have a wife and kids, like, how would I be able to go on tour for months and like go be completely irresponsible and a piece of shit? Not that the people that are doing that are irresponsible and pieces of shit. I'm just saying that's the way that I would do it. But it's wild to me, these people that go from place to place. And I know, Jack, that you got to a point where it's like, man, okay, well, I'm selling posters that I'm buying to get to the next show to start doing this. So you saw them in Baltimore. When was your next show from your first show to your second show? How long of a time difference was there?
So, so I managed to get my feet under me right around the time I saw him in, July 2nd of 22. But there was still the financial side. Like I was good up here and I was good, around me, but I still wasn't making enough to travel for this. And I still have never flown for a Billy show. And I really think that the only time I'll ever do that is Red Rocks or the Gorge. Until then, I get so much East Coast shows. Like I'm already greedy and getting well fed.
That's so funny because Kodi and I are planning to fly this year because this is the first year in a long time where they're not playing here like 6 times or whatever it is. Because we're so spoiled, we're like, we've got to go out of state now. This is bullshit.
Yeah, and listen, and before you're gonna have to circle me back to the nature of the question because I can't help but saying it. Coming back to Baltimore, back to back for Halloween, baby, and I go New Jersey. I'm hitting Pittsburgh. I'm hitting Newark, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I can't do the New York shows. I can't justify missing work for the 2 weekday shows. But
yeah,
I just got Charlottesville. Like my company we're nationwide, so they let me do a week in the Alexandria office, which was still a slick 2.5 hour drive, and I was still in my scrubs watching it because I didn't have time to change. I showed up like 4 songs in, but luckily I had seats, so it wasn't all that bad. Then I got 3 nights in Cary, and I'm gonna get 2 in Lexington next month. So I'm gaining weight over here, and I love it.
I'm jealous of those Halloween shows. So I've got a bunch of buddies who all bought tickets for that, and it's just too far out for me to be sure I'd be able to go. So I can't spend the money on it right now. But like that's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, and like I recognize that, man. It's a lot. It's a lot because the thing is, if you drive, well, I don't know. I don't know where you're based at, but I'm assuming it's a 10 plus.
Oh, to get yeah, I'm in Boulder, Colorado, so
Yeah,
it's a drive. I'm flying. I need like Cody's the kind of guy. He like there's some shows we're going to, and he's like, hell, we'll just drive, and I'm like, nah, it's 14 hours or whatever it is. I'm gonna fly. Fuck that shit.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a road runner. So there's something about like I drove my drive back from Cary. Not saying that this is all that bad, but my drive back from Cary was 9.5.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be a 6.5 hour. I'll tell you one thing: if there's no traffic, I can do that with my eyes closed. I'll drive with my knees and just play because then I get to play shows all the way through.
Yeah, I don't. It's not that I don't like driving. For me, it's the ride back. So like, I'm all pumped up to drive out there, but then after you do 2 days of whatever it is you're doing, then you're like, oh great, now I got to drive 18 hours back to my house. This fucking sucks.
Yeah, I will say 18.
Yep. That's fair. I'm fine with that. I'll fly. That's it. I will become the airports and the TSA's problem.
You know, oh, you will. But that's what's dope. And so it's fun because like we get the itch, right? And like we see it. We all have our stories of like catching it. I love that you talked about like being a teenage boy, right? Like we've talked about the trauma bonding and like the connection to Billy's lyrics and how he's able to transcend some of these emotions and then the stuff that we get from the community. It's beautiful, right? And so what was your transition, Jack, from like being a fan, seeing your first show? I guarantee you pulled out your phone and you have some content from that first concert, right?
Once again, had no idea how lucky I was. My hand was on the rail with one hand was on the rail, one hand was on my phone. Now, I didn't have the same. I think it takes a certain level of, I have a bit of a tism. It takes a certain level of listening to want to wake up every morning and before I like start shaving, hopping in the shower, like Pyramid Country's playing in the background or just something. Like I turn on whatever the most recent one is that I haven't heard yet and I just start playing it through till I get to work. Then on my drive home, I try to finish the set. Um, yes, I have footage from that first show. And to this day, it's still some of my favorite. What got me into doing this was well, actually, here, let me circle back to your original question. Where was the space between first show to next show? So I did July 2nd, 22. Then I did February 16th, 23 in Atlantic City at the Hard Rock. I can only catch one of those shows. From there, and this is to now pick up on your next question on when did I start transitioning into the filming. December 8 and 9, Baltimore. So end of the rainbow. I promise you, if you squint at anyone's footage, his feet kind of lift off the ground mid solo, and there, I know it sounds a little crazy, but because there was no nuns recorded, you kind of have to take my word for it because his feet, ever so slightly, that show, I'm telling you right now, like I'm sweating, like that performance is unmatched, and I have never gotten that kind of drive from anything. Anything. I'm so serious, and I've done a lot of things that I would never endorse other people to try. I've been in a lot of interesting situations, a lot of fun situations, a lot of not so fun, but I've never had such a feeling for something before. It was in that show. And this was back when Nugs did not record this. So after December 8, because I was in the pit 8, 9, I was up in the stands, and he played Thunder again for me, and I was also grateful for it. But I did Wilkes-Barre 15th right after that. And knowing that, well, I ended up scoring 3 Asheville pits, me and my girlfriend at the time. And this was still before my money was all situated, but I went and upgraded my phone to the 15 Pro Max. If anyone is listening to this and you care about anything I have to say and you want to start taking decent footage, 15 Pro Max. I have a $1,600 camera setup back there that is literally a mask so people don't question why I have a photo pass. This phone has done, this whole page was started with a cell phone. Cell phone, a guy with determination and autism. The Asheville shows, that's where this page got built because I started it on the 15th of February, 24. This was right when Nug started live streaming. This was right when they brought the new rig out. Uh, this is when I got the slew foot footage with the hair going nuts.
The 5 symbols behind them, that new rig? That what you're talking
No,
about?
no, no, no. I'm talking like the big rig, this new all setup. Yeah, that's when they got rid. Honestly, I miss the old rig, and because I'm not going to be that guy. Like you never saw Jerry, but at least I could be like, hey, I saw the original rig. So eventually, I will be tatting that somewhere on my body.
I've always wanted to get the patch of that and put it onto a Dickies work shirt as a shirt. You reminded me, I've got a project this week.
Yeah, because my thing is there's 2 things I want to tattoo next. It's going to be this logo, and it's going to be I want the light rig. And I do sell merch. I try not to step on toes. I never write Billy strings. I never try to take away from his camp. Even though I know they make quite a bit of money, he deserves everything he's getting. I don't want to dip in his pockets, but I do want to stick that light rig on something. Um, but yeah,
Well,
Asheville.
he has been super cool with fan art, right? And giving people access, whether it's tapers or media. He does give people the chance, right? And so you started taking it, and that's what's wild to me is like, okay, yes, I see these people all the time. In March, we had a madness bracket and we talked about amateur videographers. And I'm sure that, like, at some point when I was a drunk asshole, I would be like, oh, this fucking guy's videotaping. And then later that night, I'd be going on Instagram and be like, oh shit, look at what Red Daisy fucking posted. That's a good shit. But it's like a double standard, right? Because, like, so how did you go from, like, taking those first photos and videos to, like, knowing, like, oh, this is a thing?
I gotta go back to Asheville because I had those clips, but I had never. So I'm at the point now, and not that this is like it's not like a pat me on the back. Like I still have a ton of places I can improve, but I've gotten to the point where I can record, edit, watermark, and have it up before the song's finished, just for the people that are at home watching. But where this started was I went to East Ash Grass, which is also one of my favorite, more old school grass bands. They had an after party for, I think it was the Saturday Asheville. It was night two. Posted a couple of their videos, had like some decent shots. And when I got back to the hotel, I put a couple of them up, and Harry Clark, their mandolin player, reached out to me and he's like, "Hey man, thanks so much for taking these. Like, great shot." And in that moment, it was very small, and I'm sure he thinks nothing of it, but it meant the world to me. And from there, I realized like these smaller bands, like, hey, they probably within their budget and what they're getting paid to go out, like, they can't afford content creators, and that they appreciate this stuff. And that's kind of what started everything for me.
And you're 100% correct because, like, we see it too now, right? And we've even talked about this with you. Like, we talked to some of these bands and even some of these big names that were like, oh man, I can't believe that these people would want this or want this help. But what we don't realize is that they don't have the resources available or the budget for them to do all this. So then to have people talking about them, to have people taking photos and videos and promoting it for us, I will say this again because we fucking love them. But Magoo, Shay and I, we have a bluegrass band here in our backyard that they thank us. They're like, man, you guys help us so much because we don't have to make content. You fucking make so much for us that we can then just like reshare it. And it's cool because, like you said, it's like, man, it probably doesn't mean shit to them, but to us, it was like, fuck, okay, that's
Yeah,
that.
just like the recognition. Like, this isn't all for nothing. This isn't just for a bunch of my friends that don't listen to music to watch my story and just click right by it. Like, someone is actually like, oh wow, thank you. Let me show this to the people that really care about it. Like, that it's cool. It's a good feeling.
Well, and that's what's dope is so like it started from the Billy scene, but now you've been highlighting a bunch of other bands. So you did East Nash Grass after night two. So then did you start dabbling into seeing some other smaller bluegrass bands? How did that go? Did you just take the dragon with Billy? What was the progression of Red Daisy Sporting Club?
It's hard to get like a definitive answer of where I went next because it's been, and I'm very grateful saying this, it's been a busy year. I hate to tell you how much footage is buried and should have been posted and eventually will end up out there. But I think, let's see, February. Honestly, I got to take it to DelFest. I got to take it to last year's DelFest because I know I worked with. If I sit and look at the page, let me just highlight a couple of really very, very supportive people of my page and fantastic musicians. Shadowgrass, their whole camp. Kaiser to the manager,
Yes.
every single person, and not to mention how talented they all are. Huge supporters of the page. Always grant access. Always make sure, I go backstage. I say hi to them. They'll sign whatever I want. Mountain Grass, another, first off, absolute pleasure to watch play live. But I saw them. Well, they were going to DelFest. I reached out and I was like, hey, love to come get some footage. I got a couple of hats for you guys. And mind you, this was back when we were still hot gluing the patches on. This was before we had embroidery. This was before I had any money to put towards this. And, if they're watching this, sorry, I know those hats weren't perfect, but thank you guys for taking it with a smile. And my footage at EMD with them and a couple other really good shots. Trying to think of some other great ones, man. I mean, Dan Tominski came out to shake my hand. Jason Carter last year at DelFest. So I didn't have tickets to the late night, and he had reposted some of my footage. Reached out. He said, "Hey, great shots." And I was going to leave that Sunday night because didn't have tickets to late night. DelFest is over at that point Sunday night, and I was just like, "Hey, if you have a minute, I'd really like to shake your hand. I'd like to meet you." And he's like, "Yeah, for sure, coming out." And he meets me at the side door. And he stops me and he asks, like, "Hey, do you have tickets to this?" And I was like, "No, but that's fine. Like, I'm not asking for anything. It's just a pleasure to meet you." And he's like, "No, you're not going to miss this. Come here." And he walks into the box office, says, "Hey, he's family of the Travel McCurrys." gets me in, and that's what really lit the fire. I mean, started with East Nash, but Jason Carter doing that and like getting treated like that, and I can't even tell you like that from last year DelFest to this year DelFest is it's really cool to watch something grow. Because this was like a flower, and I'm used to my flowers. If I water them, they usually die, and this one's actually doing something.
It just keeps going, buddy. So let's talk about some of these layers, right? You talked about the hats. When did you start realizing, okay, I because you're making content, right? But there's so many layers to this in this scene. Whether you're just trying to like, I don't want to call it like a fucking influencer because then I sound like a douchebag. But like just like being part of this scene and being active on social media, sharing content, being a content creator, right? Like you also like to get your brand out there and to get people know who you are. So like how did you end up coming up with Red Daisy Sporting Club, and how has that evolution of merch helped you grow?
So back when I posted the original video that took off, which is the Slewfoot in Asheville, where his hair is nuts. Like I mean, it's I have that picture framed somewhere, and it's not even a picture; it's a still of that video, just because he is truly the dragon. But that page was originally so I try to keep this out of the music. I think that my passion in sports and my passion in music should be separated just because everyone's comfort level is different. But I do shoot semi-competitive shotgun in sporting clays, like those
Oh,
round ones
hell
that
yeah.
grow up. I do like it. I want to talk very minimally on the podcast just
Yeah.
because everyone's opinion on
No, I get it. I get it.
That's wild. So you're doing that on a different handle though, because I've never seen that on
Yeah,
your.
that's,
Well,
I had no idea.
like now I just keep it on my personal, but sporting club generally means either fishing or
Mm-hmm.
competitive shotgun.
Yep.
So originally, because my two favorite things is fast grass and shotgun blasts, was it was going to be a page just for bluegrass and shotgun, because most of the people I grew up with just want to watch the Eagles and the Giants, and that's it. They don't care about none of this. So I didn't want to, continue to just overflow everyone's feed with stuff that they don't care about just because I got a tism. And just out of respect to the rest of the scene, I took the sports stuff down and kept it just as the music. However, I'm very attached to the name. I originally made the hats just if artists were, if they liked my work and they wanted to wear it. Never asked anyone to wear it on stage. If they do, it's a blessing, it's a gift, and it's so cool to see. Never imagined I'd be selling them. It was more as a gift, and people were inquiring about them. And I did a release, and I try not to put too much out there. I try not to put too much on my plate. I don't want to turn this into a business. The second this feels like work, I don't want that. There's a reason why I don't do work for hire with the videography. I watch the music I like from the angles I want to take them at. If an artist asks me, please get this song or please get this, I will do it. But the day that someone is paying me and tells me this is the song I want you to record, I will walk away from all of this. I do this because I love it. I don't do this because it pays the bills. It certainly does not. Barely pays for the tickets most of the time. But yeah, this is love, and I
Yeah,
want it to stay love.
it's keeping creative control too, right? And like being able to put your handle on it and do it the way that you want it because you love doing it.
Yeah, and the fact that people listen, I'm just some big dumb idiot that runs around the venue with a cell phone. The fact that people like the stuff enough that they want to buy a hat with the watermark is it's a cool feeling, man.
Dude,
It's
plus
getting flowers.
being humble because you've had some pretty big names wear this hat on stage. And that's great fucking exposure, man.
It's cool exposure, and I think one thing that I appreciate the most about it is I didn't have to request it. If they did it out of love, and that's all I was really looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
This is why we need hats, Cody.
And speaking of when this is all over, you guys got to tell me a colorway you like so I can send you guys out some.
Oh, I'd wear the hell out of that. I love that.
Nothing
Yeah.
go crazy. I mean, you guys are nice enough to give me exposure on your sets. The least I could do give them back.
Oh,
But
dude, get here. We love your story, Jack, and I'm not gonna fucking lie. I love your content. I love your videos because even like when I'm on couch tour watching shit, being able to see that you're at that show and you get the right angles, you zoom in, you catch something because like a lot of us watch couch tour, right? And we're watching Nugs in the production, and we're like, they're fucking getting in on Alex and it's Jared that's ripping on the mandolin right now. Like, why are we not focusing on the right people? Like, switch the camera fucking one. Like, what are we doing? And it's dope because you do such a great job of getting it. And like you said, you're fucking instantly posting it. So like, is there pressure for you? And like I know for us when we do shows, I like hear things and I'm like, fuck, that's the one, right? So like when you're watching shit and you're hearing licks and then so my question to you is when you're watching it, are you watching over your phone and watching them perform or are you watching your phone? Because I know for me when I'm taking videos I literally watch the show through my phone.
Two-part answer. I'm watching the phone to make sure it keeps focus, especially because, as we know, when they're in those jams, they tease us on whatever song's coming. They don't always give us what we want. Sometimes they'll even, and listen, I'm just happy that they play the music. They can play whatever they want. It's a pleasure to be there. It's a privilege to get to hear it. But sometimes, because I'd like to think I have pretty good gauging of Billy and them's transition, Billy and the boys transitioning, but when I'm zoomed in, I'm keeping focus. But sometimes if I'm looking at Billy, because I'm always Jared's side. I'm always Jared's side stage. I'm looking because if I think Alex is going to do it, they walk up and they'll press the pedal. And one thing I really like about bluegrass bands, they do that quick little.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah,
You ready
yeah.
for this?
You're ready for this? We're gonna do it. Let's go.
It's hot potato. You ready to catch this? And then, so if I start seeing that, I try to get it so I can get a clean move because I don't like the quick. I want it to look all planned, which it is absolutely not. So yeah, I'm watching a little bit of both.
That's dope. But so then once you get it and you have like that aha moment, you're cutting it up, you're putting your watermark on it and you're putting it out. Have you found that like for us we do like A and B testing with like our titles or the content or what you're putting in there. Have you found that certain keywords or the way that you phrase things has helped you promote some of your bigger videos or is it just fucking stroke of luck like hey, I didn't even think this video was that good and now it's got 50,000 views or whatever it is?
I mean, I could call it luck. It's also just getting love from other pages that have bigger followings that also appreciate the work. I wouldn't be here without I mean, a big one. I mean, I am not Billy Strings. I've never met the person who runs that page in person, but shows a ton of love and absolutely helps kind of get the content out there, especially during show. I've noticed that my algorithm is best Monday through Friday between 5 and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, that's just what works for me. And not all, it doesn't always hit. I can tell you that, like, the Charlottesville shot on a Tuesday night did, I mean, 3,000 for me is a lot. Like, did not expect all that. I don't know what the views were at, but 3,000 likes is big for a little page like mine. I mean, Halloween, I hit my first million, but had nothing to do with my page. It was everything because music never stopped. They reached
Yeah.
out, they liked the work, they wanted to collaborate. Huge for me. I took it as a win, but it's absolutely not me, man. It's someone else's platform just trying to hold hands.
Yeah, but it's also our community, right? Because like I always talk about homies helping homies, right? And so it's like collaborating on posts, tagging people in stories, and like just getting the exposure, having buddy people that have more followings that continue to do it, and like we're all playing in the same playground, right? And we're doing things differently, and you can kind of cross promote different things and different stories and figure it out, and that's why it's fun to see that. But what you have to do is fucking realize that you do take amazing shots, right? And so, like, yes, it was help from them, but without you, there would be no fucking content. And so, for you, do you feel like do stills perform at all for you compared to like these videos that you can really capture the emotion? Like you said, you had that you ended up taking like a still from the video of Billy in Asheville with the fucking hair. Do you ever like fire away still photos while you're videoing, being like, shit, look at this?
When they're like at the end, when Billy's like, I have one like really cool shot where he's not looking at me, but it looks like he's looking in my direction. He's like throwing the peace sign up, or when he's like, sometimes I think like in their faces, they know what they just did because everyone's howling. And like when I can capture that, like that's more of a me thing.
Oh, dude, I fucking love it when Billy's got like that shit-eating grin, or like you can just see like how happy he is after he like ripped this nasty lick, and you're like,
Or during when he's walking at the edge of the stage and he's like, you guys ready for more?
comes and it's like, oh, am I gonna get the fucking hair whip? Like, where's he gonna bring this? And it's dope because like, okay, so you're saying, oh, I've been to X amount of shows. Like, some people know this is coming, other people aren't seeing this. Obviously, Billy just continues to grow and grow and grow, and he deserves all of it, right? But what I wanted to know is, so like, what are some of the songs that have really hit with you? Maybe not the videos that you took with them, but some of the lyrics and some of the songs that resonate with you.
Uh, I mean, like, I feel like this is a ground ball for everybody. It sounds like I'm a window licker when I say it, but like love and regret, especially in a live setting when you hear the whole crowd do the coyote howl, man, like, come on. You
Yeah, that's
can't get
great.
emotional for that.
So what's funny is one of the things that I'm chasing and will forever chase because they've only done it fucking twice, I think, is Dust and Regret. So where they inverse it, or is it Love and
Mm.
Dust and Regret? Where
No, I think it is Dust and Regret because I've seen the titles for it.
yeah, so it's the playing of one song while you sing the other, and it's like fuck, okay. And I know that he's done it twice. So I'll be chasing that for a fucking long time. My birthday's on the August 8th. I'll be in Milwaukee for my 40th, Billy. So if we can make that fucking
Hint,
happen,
hint.
and obviously that's not gonna fucking happen, but that would be super cool. But so Love and Regrets, is there something that you chase? Is there a cover that you like? Because like I love that you give props to the old traditional bluegrass too. So is there something that really hits with you from Billy?
Just so you know, this is not a one. It's not going to be a one song answer, but
And it shouldn't be.
Har- Harbor of Love every time. Rank Stranger. This last one, I didn't see it. I believe it's Savannah. April 10th, might be 12th. I can't tell you the amount of people that don't like this music that make the mistake of getting in the car with me and have to hear me howl that song. Just some others, and this isn't a cover, but like Tentacle Dragon and with Bella Fleck is. I mean, I even listen to that, and like I said, I try to keep the shotgun stuff out of this, but like I listen to that and Slipstream sometimes because I get so wrapped up in the music, and because there's no lyrics, like I can make it whatever I want it to be. Then it brings me a lot of focus. Maggie Walker Blues and Blue Mule from this little last carry run. Oh God, I can't. I like you know how they have the that thing on Apple Music and Spotify, what you've played the most this
Yeah,
year. I wish Nugs did that because I'd hate to tell you.
you're
I
fucking
hate for
like
what Nugs charges and how much I listen to it. Like I'm not saying they should. Please do not up your prices, but they absolutely could, and I'm absolutely going to keep paying to just keep giving me the music, please.
well, we don't want them to hear that, but yes, and I agree 1,000%. What we do want them to hear is give us the fucking analytics, right? Like I can tell you, like every single day I pull up some sort of live show on Nugs, and I'm constantly listening to music, right? And people are like, "Oh, check out my Spotify or my Apple Music," and I'm like, I have my fucking 5 and 8-year-old daughter's playlist on Spotify, so it's gonna be Olivia Rodrigo and shit like that. Not to mention that a
Yeah,
lot of the
also Olivia Rodrigo's great. Yeah, we're gonna show some love to her real quick. She's awesome.
dude, and that's where it's fun. It's like so my kids the my proudest moment is my oldest daughter can differentiate between Jerry and the Grateful Dead and Dead and Company. So I've done my service, right? That's all I really care about. That's the same girl that had a Must Be Seven birthday party. Like she's just a fan and I love seeing it. I'm a poster junkie. When I come home from shows, she's immediately like, "Oh, let me see the poster. I want to check it out." So like I love that I'm passing that on to my kids and I'm sharing it and that she like enjoys bluegrass as well. And so it's like this mix, right? And trying to find that balance. And so when you were figuring out like, okay, this is a thing now, right? So it's not just Billy, because obviously it's Red Daisy Sporting Club, but now you're going after some of these other bands, chasing these other things. You said that you were super busy last year. So who were some of the people that you were, I don't know if it was partnering with or highlighting? I know that you talked about Shadowgrass and Mountain Grass. When you said that, I immediately thought, well, this motherfucker needs to be here for August 1st and 2nd because both of those bands are playing at the Mishawaka Amphitheater in Bellevue, Colorado, in the Poudre Valley. And that is going to be phenomenal. We have something special set up for that week, but I'm not going to blow it just yet. But you should definitely make it out here. But who are some of those other bands that you've been chasing that you've been really liking? I know East Nash Grass, Jason Carter. We've been super lucky to have a lot of these people on. Who are some of the other ones that have helped you out?
For any of these bands that are listening, just so you understand, I changed clothes twice in the 3.5 days I was at DelFest, and I slept for maybe a combined 9 hours in those 3 days.
My man.
I also walked into a very busy medical sales role towards the end of the month where I handled 14 patients today. So like I'm running on fumes. If Kodi gave me the privilege to be on this show, I was going to do it regardless of how tired I am. So if I overlook anybody, just know it was such a privilege to work with you. I did not take it lightly, and I hope that you welcome me back in the future if I forget your name. But
And just so people
Shadowgrass.
go to Red Daisy Sporting Club, check out his Instagram. Jack, you were everywhere at DelFest this year, bro. Like you were in the stage, behind the stage, in the sides, at the picks, in the campgrounds. You were all over the place, bro.
And let me be very vocal in the sense of Alan Bartram, which if any of you don't know who that is the bass player with the Del McCurry Band and the Traveling McCurrys, a very talented bass player with a beautiful voice. I could not have done any of that without Alan Bartram's blessing. So Alan Bartram, if you ever take the time to listen to this, little old me is so grateful, and thank you. And thank you to all of the people at DelFest to help make this possible. But Saturday morning, I was in the Meadows, which is main stage area, at 9:16, looking at the angles I'd take shots from, and I got back to my car at like 3:40 something a.m. where I was car camping. So we shot all day long. We did first sets to late nights, not because anyone asked me to, but because that is what I went there to do, and that's what I love doing. Before I go into DelFest and all this other stuff, I would like to circle back on something. August 1st and 2nd, there's a reason I can't go there,
You
and
going to Dead?
it's one of the reasons. I'm sorry.
You going to Dead 60?
No, okay. Honestly, no. I don't think I could. Even the cost of those tickets and the flying out there. Not saying it's not worth it. I mean, Sturge, like I know, and everyone's gonna talk about it, and it's as they should. But one of the biggest blessings I've had with this page is it's allowed artists to work with each other because they didn't have a platform and I did. So there's a kid who I saw posting stuff last year by the name of Quentin Miller. He's just a young man and rips on the guitar, rips. And I don't think he knows how talented he is, but he's certainly working like a kid who's hungry. And I reposted some of his stuff. I've never actually taken footage of him in person. I saw him at the kid, but we talk. I don't know, once a week. And he asked me, "Hey man, the next time you post something, do you mind putting something in the caption, just saying that like I'm looking for other artists to work with?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, like 100%, like that. I would love to do that." And two other individuals. I don't know his legal last name, but Jake Nando and Nate Farmer. Jake obviously plays the mandolin, and Nate Farmer's on the banjo. They now go by the 65 North Pickers. And when I tell you, if anyone's listening to this, if you heard Kodi say check out Red Daisy Sporting Club, like I'm nothing. These kids, man, they rip. They rip. Like they are really, really good, and they're really, really determined, and they're coming to stay with me August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I got them booked two places, and Jake got himself booked, got them booked for the third night.
Hell yeah.
I'm so excited to meet these kids and to get real up close and to like take them into Union, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with Union Craft Brewing. Some of Billy's most expensive posters in some of his earlier venues. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a special one, and I think these are like some special kids. And if they keep working the way they're working, I think they're going to be someone that people are going to be chasing after. So I'm going to be missing whatever they're doing out in San Francisco. I'm going to be missing what you guys have going on, but I promise you I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I'm really grateful to be doing it. It's a blessing to know that a band got started just because I, big dumbass ran around with a cell phone long enough.
That's awesome, man. That's fucking beautiful. So, but going back to DelFest, because I can't let you wiggle out of this, I need to know. So, like, you're shooting for fucking 14, 15 hours. Are you bringing extra batteries? Are you having battery packs? Like, I know you said you had a $1,400 rig around your neck, but you're using your iPhone. What else do you have stashed in your backpack to, like, get you through the day? To get through?
Camelback, Tylenol, some sort of caffeine, a protein bar here and there, some other miscellaneous that I'm not going to mention. It helps to have some sort of earplugs if you're standing close enough to the actual speakers and whatnot. But I carry two battery packs with Type C, wires. That's to make sure the phone doesn't die on me. It's good to have an insulated camelback because last year at DelFest, when it was like 90 degrees, that phone overheats fast. This was before I knew that if you don't keep the phone focused, so if you're not shooting and you just hold the phone camera down, at least the 15 Pro Max, like it's so good at auto focusing that it heats the phone up really quick if you're not monitoring it. So if you have an insulated backpack and the water's cold enough, you can stick it right behind the water pack and it helps cool it down. I keep two extra batteries for the camera, some sort of microfiber rag, just make sure the lenses are clean. I kind of gave up on using a gimbal. A lot of my shots are real steady. Sometimes you'll see me veer off because I noticed that the gimbal doesn't give me as clean as a transition than if I just use my own hands.
Well, it's hard to pan, right? Because it has the joystick, but sometimes it's jerky because I use one.
Yes, it jerks, and like if that happens during a shot, and it's like the one that I'm chasing after, like I'll have a little silent tantrum in the pit there. So won't do it. It's got to be my hands. If I fuck up, it's me, not the equipment.
I love that. Has weather, because you already talked about the heat and obviously the thunderstorm in Baltimore, your first Billy show. Has the weather fucked up any of your shoots?
Not so much. I mean, I've been very lucky. Another thing that I carry in that backpack is disposable ponchos, and usually I carry several. When I get the gift of getting to go to a show or a festival for free, I usually have like 40 disposable ones in the trunk of my car, so other fans that I'm around or people can still go to the venues. If you're diehard enough to stand in that rain, wearing pretty much a trash bag, like you deserve to be there. So if I'm not going to pay for the ticket, I try to give it back in other ways. And like that's one of the things I do. So if I am going to start getting wet, as long as I can keep the camera dry, I'll just throw one of those over. I'm
You're
not
good.
scared of getting wet, man. What did Billy say? I think it was at Red Rocks when it was raining. The fish are already wet. Who cares?
Yup.
That was fucking brutal, though. It was literally raining all
Were you
day.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was as well.
Nice.
Actually, that is the only time that I bailed on a set early after the first set. I did not come prepared, so I'd spent the whole day being just soaked to the bone and cold, and my back was killing me. So I was like, all right, fuck this, I'm not doing this. During set break, I went out to the car, warmed up the car, took all my gear off, and pulled it up on Nugs, and then listened to the rest of the show as in the parking lot for a little bit, then went home. But like, the rain's one thing, but the wind and the cold up there is brutal. That was a fucking horrible set.
Was it the wind and rain?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
I think I've heard a song about that
Yep,
before
yep.
somewhere. I don't know.
Hey, what's funny is I also ended up leaving that show early, but that was because someone drugged me. That someone ended up being myself in the bathroom at Red Rocks, and it just got it was a whole fucking ordeal. So that was my buddies were giving me so much shit because I had boys that had flown around the country. I only lived 3 miles from Red Rocks. We had raging line, and literally the first fucking song he starts playing, and I'm puking down myself like Jesus fucking Christ, like just beyond obliterated. So that did not. There's some PTSD for that fucking Red Rock show and that fucking rain, but it's something that we live and learn from, right? And so when you were at DelFest, were you looking at like the schedule being like, because that's the other hard thing for these fests, right? They have main stage, they have side stage, they have camp pick. So like how do you determine when you're gonna spend your time, who you're hitting, what you're gonna go do? And did you do that before you got to the festival for DelFest? Knowing like
I do that the second it gets announced. I have it planned before I get in the car and drive down there. If I have a say in it. I'll tell you that I I try to let selfish things like eating not get in the way of missing good sets, and unfortunately, well, this is not that, but there's a kid. Do you guys remember that clip of Billy jamming Thirst Mutilator in a lot from NOLA? Besides, he's got that straw hat on, and circle
Yep.
glasses, looking real chill.
yep,
So
yep.
the young man that he was, and I mean young man, I mean 13, that was playing the mandolin. I had the pleasure of meeting him and his father
Van.
at DelFest this past weekend. Yeah, Vance, he rips.
Yeah, dude, I was lucky enough to interview Vance at our renewal show, and I had him pick Tin Soldier down by the river, and we got to chat with him, and that kid is fucking phenomenal, and
So
he is so good, and he is so young, and
mhm.
yeah, his father is fucking an amazing human being too, and so it's great to watch because dude, he got to sit in with a bunch of people at DelFest, and you seem to fucking be right there for every single one.
Well, part of that was dumb luck. I went backstage to snag a picture with Mountain Grass, which somehow got taken off my Instagram with a whole bunch of other photos today, which I'm gonna stay out of. But Instagram support, I pay you to have that check mark. I wish you guys could give me the support I asked for. But that's neither here nor there. Obviously I'm not sour about it. But uh, while I was back there, I had a case of hats, and like I said, if someone gives me a ticket, I don't want, I give a lot of stuff away. It's a gift to be there. And first off, it's self promoting. I wish I could tell you that there's a way to make a profit on these hats. I wish I had a thinner patch because it costs so much just to get the damn thing on there. Once again, I veer off topic. When I was back there with Mountain Grass, this young kid came up and he said, "Hey, kid, can I take a picture with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And it was him and another kid named Hollis, and he's another really cool guitar picker from Alabama. And well, Vance from Indiana, but same place as Mount Grey, etc. Um, I gave him the hat. He picked the red one, and it was because he told me later that it was because of the same one Chris Henry had on, and he recognized it, which was so cool to hear him say that. And his father came over, and a guy named Jeremiah, who I believe is loosely managing Vance right now. Yeah, good people, and took care of me. Cooking, listen, they were cooking short rib and stuff after some of the shows. Like we had a really good time. And listen, they look out. They know how to camp.
No, they right, and they take care of each other too, right? And what's nice is once you're in, and those guys are homies. They're amazing human beings, and to see Vance and like see these opportunities that he's getting and continue to get, like, because he was the one that picked with Billy on lot at New Orleans for
Yeah,
New.
that's what I was saying. The kid that played at NOLA.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. So he ended up playing with Mountain Grass.
He played. There was a lot going on during Mountain Grass. I do believe he was on stage with them. I know he was on there with Wyatt Ellis and one other that escapes. Like I said, I'm running on fumes right now.
No, for sure, man.
I took them down. It's funny because you took them by the river. I can assure you, I did not know that you did the same. But I took them down by the river. But because there was a train that pulled up and stopped, we actually ended up. It hasn't. I mean, I put stories up. The footage is getting edited, and yes,
the train is right over his shoulder. It's fucking beautiful.
Correct. And Yance's father. I got a lot going on. I promise you, this is coming out. He's very supportive of his son. He's very passionate about it, and he is very patient with me. I just want to let you know if you're watching this, just know I'm doing stuff. I want to see your son make it. Not as much as you do, because no one could want it as much as his father does, but the kid's talented. I want to see him do things, and I promise you I'll get that footage to you shortly. But we went up there to shoot that, and I missed. I think it's the Pride sisters. These two young girls. Oh, when I say young, I mean like early 20s, but two girls, and they actually got up on stage with the Del McCurry band, and let me tell you, man, beautiful voices, and it's like the old school grass that I want to hear. But then I believe her name's Lauren, played with Ronnie back to back, and you can even see. And another thing that Instagram ever so graciously took off my recent post, my little DelFest, whatever you call it, dump. You can see Ronnie looking over her left shoulder, just like, she's feeling it. Like, she's really getting after it. And just another two girls that if you guys are within 4 hours driving and I got nothing else going on, I'm coming out to see you play.
For sure. And I just have to, because another friend of the pod, Wyatt Ellis, that kid is so phenomenal. And now he has a band, that banjo player on his band, they just.
Gibson?
Yeah.
Gibson, sharp kid. And Noah, the fiddle player. The name of the bass player and the guitar player escapes me, but every single person on the stage is carrying their weight. It was really, really a pleasure to catch them.
Fire pickers. And I've been lucky because, like, I've built a relationship with Wyatt since we interviewed him. And, like, sometimes there'll be, like, comments in Bluegrass groups where some old man was giving Wyatt shit about having long hair and how he needs to be his man. And Wyatt and Teresa, his mother, who's also phenomenal, they stay on brand, right? But Wyatt was like, I know somebody that can come and deal with this. And so he's like, hey, Kodi, can you come get my back on this? So I immediately like found the group on the post, like shredded this dude. I was like, man, I really wish we were talking about a beautiful song, but if your hair is too long, then there's sin in your heart. But no, you're just being a jerk to a teenager that is literally continuing to keep this genre alive, right? Like, We, with all these young pickers and all these phenomenal players, like even Shadowgrass and Mountain Grass unit, they're fucking in their early 20s. They are babies, right? So we have decades to go with this stuff. And it's awesome to see. And I know Ronnie said something on stage that, hey, Bluegrass is in good hands, right? And it truly is. And I know that, Jack, you are doing the same thing that Shay and I are doing, is we're sharing our love for this community and this music because we want it to get out in front of more people. And it's awesome because Bluegrass, I don't think that it has been more popular than it is right now.
I wasn't raised on this music. I don't have enough historical knowledge to agree with that, but I can tell you I'm almost positive. Listen, Billy is his own entity, but there is no way that they were selling arenas out the way Billy is. There's no way that Ticketmaster is damn near crashing every time tickets get released. And because of the path that he's paving, it is allowing so many new versions. Like, I want to keep it bluegrass, but let's call it what it is. You can call it jamgrass. I call it arena grass. I'm not branding that name, but let me tell you, arena grass has a special place in my heart. But this is new grass, and it's keeping all of this alive. And I used to think that I was born in the wrong era of music because obviously every old head growing up when I would have any dead merch on. Yeah. Oh, you never saw Jared. And I'm like, all right, dude, say thanks. Hey, do me a favor. Can you just step on my hand and just like to kind of dig it in there? Because like I never had a saying that. I was born in '97. What do you want from me? And then seeing like growing up Woodstock. That's everyone's like, I wish I could have went to Woodstock, like all that stuff. But like, I didn't miss that era of music. I wanted to be in. Like, I'm here for it, and I'm front and center. And it is such a gift to be here. And I got the posters to prove it, man. I was there.
Yes,
And it's, like,
sir.
it's so special. And every single one of the ones I got, like, there's only two I wasn't at. It's the Pollock from Pittsburgh last in 23, just because it's Pollock and I really wanted it, and I got it for a steal. And I got the Ryman with the bass on it during COVID. Everything else I was there, and every single one's got a story. And, I don't know if I plan to have kids, but like one day I'm going to be, because they don't really have a choice. How my friends hate hearing about it. But like all of this stuff tells about a different part of this genre that I was front and center for. And I can't wait to see it continue to just go north, man.
No,
Sky's the
for
limit.
I want to
can
be
you
buried with all my posters like a pharaoh.
No, no, no. They can act. What is it? They wrap the mummies in it. Honestly, just
Yes,
take all the
yes,
posters. Just wrap. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
perfect.
you
I'll have
guys
that Mishawaka one right over my face.
the poster folder that makes me fucking cringe. Please don't do any of that. Don't. I do want to get back to DelFest because I feel like I haven't given it enough time and there were so many amazing performances, right? So like what were some of the highlights for you? Not even just like partnerships and doing like because I mean there's Sierra Farrell, right? There were a bunch of great artists at this lineup. And for people that have not been to DelFest, it is one that you have to get to. It is on my bucket list of items to go. You guys were talking about going to Baltimore for Halloween. If I didn't have kids, I'd be there in a second. But DelFest, I can bring my girls to next year, and I promise you, over Memorial, I will be there. I
I
will.
can promise you, it is the most family welcoming grass fest. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of others. It's the most welcoming music festival venue, etc. Bramble's another good one. I gotta show love to Brick and what they're doing out here around Baltimore because Brick is a phenomenal person. They are doing a phenomenal festival, but DelFest truly is. I mean, you couldn't ask for a prettier venue. You pull up, the mountains are right there screaming at you. There's just a really welcoming vibe to it. Um, I'm not going to tell you what the title is. Feel free to be like, hey, we got Red Daisy's Big Dumbass with the cell phone on here. But like, you can also put in parentheses, like, go to DelFest because phenomenal. Just from the pretty venue, the extremely patient staff, the fantastic acts. I mean, you get a mix of the newer grass with mountain grass and all them, and then you get the younger kids that are giving us old grass. You got Wyatt Ellis, then you have Dell, the ambassador of all this stuff now. I miss Dan Taminsky completely out of the grass part of this. I kept hearing that the California honey drops were cool.
Mhm.
Brass is not something I'll listen to in the car, so I was a little not willing to look into it. I don't really dance much. Sometimes if Cattle on the Cane comes on, it's going to look like I'm trying to drill my knee through the concrete because I can't help myself. I'm never dancing, smiling at people and like moving back and forth. California honey drops. If you're ever trying to fall in love at a show, That's the band you should go see, because let me tell you something, that's making love music, man. That was a good time. That was another fun addition to DelFest. Like, I got gospel in the afternoon, I get jamgrass in the evening, and then I get whatever you describe California honey drops at the late night. Just chef's kiss, man. Everything that DelFest does is perfect. Everything from the academy, where they're teaching other young pickers to come in, and a lot of those young pickers end up performing later on because they learn so much.
Yep.
Could not be more supportive of DelFest, and it has nothing to do with the fact that they let little old me come and shoot it. Like, I mean, I would have been there if I had to pay full price anyway. My original inquiry was, I plan to buy tickets to this. Alan, do you mind just giving me access just so I can be around the photo pits and I can bring a removable lens? And he kind of just hits me with the, hey, give me your email and give me a couple minutes, I'll get back to you. And then their director of all that reaches out like, hey, dude, you're covered. You're welcome. Come on out. And it's just the nicest gesture, and I couldn't appreciate it more.
That's amazing, man. So what do you have on the docket now for the rest of the year? What do you got going on? Other than the North 65 pickers coming over the first
65 North? No, but I'm going to do Lexington, and I'm really pumped to see Vance and Yancey again. I'm going to be meeting up with Quentin Miller from the 65 North. I'm actually staying at their band's house during that. I'm going to be working with Zeb Snyder in the Appalachian Roadshow. Shout out to them. Zeb Snyder, another amazing picker, and you're familiar with him too, but he welcomed me out to this last Gettysburg Bluegrass. I'll be seeing him again in August. June 15th, someone who is another date junkie is going to tell me I'm wrong, but somewhere around that date, Mountain Grass is coming back or coming around me for Annapolis. I'll see him there. It's coming down the pipeline. I got a list somewhere, but it escapes me. I know I'm going to be doing Ramble. Ramble Fest is always great. I can't even remember who's on the lineup, but I don't care. Anything to go out and support their camp and what they're doing. I believe I'll be going to Annapolis, Baygrass, see Alan Bartram and Travel McCurry's again. Sam Grisman, another huge supporter of the page. He'll be there. Love to catch up with him. And then I'm sure there's other dates I'm missing, but because I'm greedy and I got to rub it in somebody's face, we're getting Baltimore Billy again. I'm going to go to Newark, which is like 30 minutes from the high school I went to growing up. And my buddies tell me, bro, if you haven't seen the Pittsburgh show, you got to do it. And that's all the arm twisting I needed. So haven't even purchased any tickets for Newark or Pittsburgh, but just like Harry, if I got to pay like $650 for all those nights, like, I don't care. Just do it. Just keep touring. I don't care. I don't need a 4K. I don't need a savings.
Money's a construct, man.
Yeah, there's no point of having a retirement if I can't get the stuff I want now. Like, just give me the music, man.
Maybe the fans in the community can help you out. So, are you still selling merch? Where can people check this out? Other than Red Daisy Sporting Club on Instagram, where can people find you? Where can they stay up to date? Where can they check out the stuff that you've done if they haven't seen you? And where can they continue to see it as it comes out?
I have a Facebook, and I'm sure it's full of unanswered messages, and I'm sorry to anyone that has messaged me on there. The only thing I really try to stay on top of is Instagram. That's my platform. That's where I stay up to date. And because I try to respond to anyone who messages, even just like fans or supporters, because I have such a good record of doing that, my inbox floods quite a bit. So it's really tough. If you're looking to get up with me, I'm just find me in the crowd. I'm always there. I'll be vending in Baltimore at Pickett. And well, as of right now at Union, I think I'm going to have a booth at Pickett as well. I might sit out with a fold out table in Lexington just because of the fact that I hate holding people's money. If you buy a hat for me and it's a pre-order and then something gets held up and production's always slow, there's always stuff going on, and I have a very demanding job. Listen, merch comes out when it comes out. For anyone who wants it, please come on out, but this is not something I'm going to have regularly available. I just don't have the time for it. I love the supporters, but it's not a business. It's a hobby.
When are you going to have your Woofluencer how to shoot live videos class?
Dude, I don't even know how to do it. You listen to enough music, you'll learn how. You got to be locked in. You'll know when they transition. If you know they're transitioning before they know they're transitioning, that's when it's time.
Believe me, as a cannon popper of confetti, the fucking transitions are the biggest thing that you need to know, right? But that was the nonverbals where you can see that and you can pop it off. But I'm telling you, man, some of these fucking people, they need help. You got to get your finger out of the way. You got to stop zooming in so far. Start walking up. Get there earlier so that you can get this crisp, clear photos. Jack, I can't thank you enough for this week. DelFest. Yeah, baby. We got to get as many people as we can back out there. It is a phenomenal festival. Go listen to Bluegrass. Go check out these festival lineups and look at the bottom. Look at these smaller names. Go check out some of these smaller bands that you don't know who they are yet and start figuring out who they are because they will be the future. And believe it or not, just a handful of years ago, you would have seen a little name of Billy Strings, right? And now we're literally filling out arenas.
You said Vance sat in for 6 sets. That was Billy, and there's still people that rub that in my face. They're like, "Oh yeah, you mean the guy that sat in for every set? Yeah, yeah, we saw him."
Well, Vance Bone Break. If you boys don't know, Vance Bone Break, the kid is legit. His family is amazing. Vance and his people are great. You will see them out at shows all over the place. Jeremiah, first off, that dude's a fucking beard farmer because he shaved off his beard. I think it was for Carrie, and the thing's already fucking full grown
Fun
black.
fact: it's in full force at DelFest.
God damn it, Jeremiah. And then I'm sitting here with all this white trashy shit. So it is what it is. But homies helping homies. Go support everyone. Please, please go and follow Red Daisy Sporting Club. Drop them a message. Let them know. Go check out who we talked about in these. And then if there's somebody that you want us to check out or you want Jack, hey, have you seen this? You know he's on the East Coast. Send him names, man. I know, just like us, we love the music, so share it with us. I don't give a shit how many followers they are. They can rip, they can rip. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I'll reiterate that they don't need a following. Just I understand the urge to put like your little brother's friend on there, and trust me, we all want to support everybody. But you know the type of music and level we're looking for. They don't have to have a following. This platform is my platform is it's my responsibility if I have anyone who's watching just to get artists that deserve to be on there out there, and it's a real pleasure to do it.
So what we need to do, Shay, is we need to make sure if Magoo's playing in Maryland, we got to get Jack over there.
I've already
Yeah.
listen. I was gonna say before when you brought them up, I heard like a snippet of them, and I was like, shit, dude, these guys rip. And I
They
messaged him,
do.
and I was like, you got anything out my way? And before we end this, another just band I want to shout out Deer Creek Sharpshooters. You guys are
Hell yeah,
awesome.
they're
Can't
great.
wait to go to
That's
Banana
big.
Fest. I'm going to Boniface Farms. Actually, that's another date. I think it's end of July. Very excited to see my friends out there again. Another
Let's.
good one.
Well, Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure, buddy. Shay, go fuck yourself.
That's fair. That's why I do this. It's for the positive reinforcement.
Hey, toxic positivity, baby. I'm here for you all.